The home AC, JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and pride of the Jaguars, Fred Taylor, bring you highlights and analysis from today's game. Jaguars Postgame, presented by Florida Home AC, is brought to you by Farah and Farah, Baptist Health, and by TIAA Bank. Now, to get things started, here's JP Shadrick.
Welcome in. It's Jaguars Postgame presented by Florida Home AC. Call Florida Home AC today, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Lions 40, Jaguars 14. And let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Jaguars radio network. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey from the Jaguars Radio Network studios at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. Fred Taylor joining us on the phone lines. Rough day for the Jags today. The Lions scored on all 8 of their possessions until the kneel down at the end of the game today. Well, no, these were not the Patriots on the other side. That happened back in 2015 as well. The Patriots scored on every possession except the kneel down at the end early in that season. Last year, the Patriots scored on every possession except one punt in, I believe, the next to last game of the season. Today, the Detroit Lions do almost anything they wanted to on offense. The Jaguars' offense couldn't really get anything jump-started at all. Fred Taylor joining us now on the line. Rough day at the office up in Detroit today. Fred, good afternoon.
Hey, how's it going, JP? Mike, how's everyone? Hey, man, that's what you call a good old-fashioned ass-whooping, JP. A lot of people are saying, well, the Jaguars they're having a hangover from last week. No. The Lions are a really good team. We talked about it in pregame. The Lions they've been playing some really, really solid football. And today they put it all together. They went out and executed effortlessly and flawlessly as well. Jacksonville has a lot of work to do. I think the best thing to come out of this game, JP, is Trevor is good to go. He showed tremendous toughness after that tackle there. I thought he was going to be lost for a few games, but to bounce back and to continue to come out of halftime and lead that team to a 16-play, 75-yard drive and a touchdown, that showed a lot of toughness and heart, in my opinion. And that was the highlight of the day for me, man. Everything else sucked.
Not going to argue with you, Fred, but you're right. If we say the most important thing between now and the end of the season is making sure that Trevor Lawrence stays healthy, the most important thing was accomplished. But there was a game to be won today. You wouldn't know it by the final margin, Fred. First time they've lost by more than 10 points, only the second time they've lost by more than one score. And repeatedly, they got hurt by a lot of things on defense today, but repeatedly got hurt with the backs catching the ball out of the backfield. A number of things. Let's start with that one, though. Was it something schematic? Were the Lions just, having good protection and Goff had time to get down to his check down? Or what was it that enabled him to go to the backs as often as he did?
Yeah, Mike, I think we've seen this, the last several weeks where the defense is lacking pressure. They're not getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. He's having ample amount of time to go through all of his reads. And if the reads aren't there on the back end, he's able to check it down, the short pass game to the backs or intermediate crossing routes. And if you look up here, St. Brown, 12 targets, 11 catches. His long is 15. So that was a dink and dunk day for him. DJ Chark came back versus his old team, and he looked amazing, made a lot of great tough catches in there. And the rest of the throws went to the running backs or tight ends. So you called it. I think it's a coverage, a schematic thing that the Lions took advantage of today. But more importantly, they executed it. They caught the balls that they were supposed to catch. On the flip side, I think Zay Jones dropped 3 or 4 passes. Yep. Ingram dropped a couple of balls there. Christian Kirk was actually the only player that seemed to be ready to play today. And everyone else just didn't necessarily show up, in my opinion. So, yeah, Jaguars got a lot of work to do, man. They didn't look good at all today.
It doesn't get any easier as well. The Titans coming up next in Nashville in Week 14. The Jaguars, though, today lose in Detroit. Final score 40-14. Lions are now 5-7. The Jaguars are 4-8 after the losing result today. And again, the Lions scoring on their first 8 possessions of the game, and then they knelt down to kill the clock on their 9th and final possession officially. So a near-perfect day for the Lions and a win, and they've now won 4 out of the last 5. Their lone loss in that time was on Thanksgiving when they went toe-to-toe with the Buffalo Bills. Well, you mentioned on offense, a lot of drops today. That's kind of uncharacteristic, certainly, of Zay Jones, who last week had 11 catches, Fred, and then all of a sudden today, he was on the injury report all week. We'll say that. He was questionable going into the game with a chest issue, but just didn't look right today, and those were costly drops in this game, not only by him, but some of the other guys you mentioned too.
Without a doubt, JP. I think it was a big third down early in the game. Should have certainly caught that to extend the drive, but he dropped that. He dropped a one-handed tough catch. We've seen him make those catches, so there's no excuses there. And I think he dropped another ball or two. Now, when they talk about the hangovers, I could probably say after having his best career day a week ago, today seems certainly like a hangover because of 7 targets. He only had 2 receptions for 16 yards with a long of 10. Just back to the drawing board, man. You know, it's still well, not necessarily a lot of football to make the playoffs. I don't know if they're capable of doing that, but they have to play these games. You know, different matchups on a week-to-week basis. So they got to play these games. But I don't know, man. Still a lot of work to do for everyone.
You know, Fred, it's good that Travis Etienne was cleared. He was able to come back and handle it. He didn't get as big a workload because the game script kind of got away from them. But, of course, set the tone with the fumble early. But outside of that play, how did he look to you?
I thought he looked himself. You know, I saw some bursts. I saw some quickness. I didn't see any tackle breaking ability. I don't know if he just wanted to engage in contact and get down and make sure, he wasn't gang tackled to increase the chances of him re-injuring his foot or just injuring himself altogether. But I did see some quickness in there. And again, you mentioned it, that starting the game with 50 seconds into the game and you give the ball up, and the Lions, a few plays later, they go down and score. That really set the tone of the day, and the Lions never looked back. But that has been a concern of mine personally for Travis, is that, he's not a huge guy. And even on that play, Mike, he had 2 hands on the ball, and he still was able to have it ripped away from him. But the fumbling has been an issue, and I think he has to, work on his ball control and security a lot more if he's going to be the starting back.
All right, guys, we'll come back in a moment. Plenty more ahead. We'll stand by also outside the Jaguars locker room in Detroit. Bucky Brooks will have a conversation with head coach Doug Pederson coming up. Jaguars fall in Detroit in Week 13. Lions 40, Jaguars 14. And this is Jaguars Postgame on Jaguars Radio.
Are your heating and cooling costs extremely high? Do you want to extend the lifespan of your heating and cooling system investment? If so, Florida Home Air Conditioning is ready to help you save some money. Schedule your annual AC or heating system tune-up today with Florida Home Air Conditioning for only $59. Florida Home Air Conditioning, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Call 855-FLA-HOME.
License number CMC 1250399, CFC 1430664, EC 130-08557.
How far should we go? When it comes to the health of children, we will stop at nothing, focusing on prevention as much as cures. Working with community leaders, educators, policymakers to make every child's world a place for them to thrive. Going to the nth degree and beyond. Nemours Children's Health, well beyond medicine. Join the journey at nemours.org/beyond.
Kessler Creative, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has been a leader in direct mail for over a decade. Using the latest technology, Kessler can now reach your ideal audience even more effectively. Choose from between a couple of response channels, from direct mail to landing pages designed to engage and initiate responses with potential customers. Kessler Creative, Jacksonville, Florida. Results-driven marketing and a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Veterans, you may have earned a variety of VA benefits. Did you know VA can help you further your education and pursue professional training? The Home Loan Guarantee Program can help you buy, repair, or adapt a home. VA provides housing support if you find yourself homeless or at risk of homelessness. And don't forget world-class health care. Learn more about these and other VA benefits. Visit choose.va.gov.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Postgame presented by Florida Home AC. And PRI Productions, the Southeast full-service event company, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com and learn more. Final score at Ford Field, Detroit. The Lions 40, Jaguars 14. The Lions scored on 8 of 9 possessions. The first 8, and then they knelt down to end the game on their 9th possession of the game, and the Jaguars defense today gave up 437 yards to the Detroit Lions offense, 100 rushing yards, 337 passing yards. The Lions penalized only one time all day. They were 7 of 11 on third downs, just chipping away. And I think the guys at the end of the game, Fred, said it pretty well. That last drive, it started with 10:16 to play in the fourth quarter. And then the Lions go 12 plays, 68 yards, and 7.5 minutes for the final touchdown, and that just kind of put a cap on the day. That summed it up all right there, that the Jags' defense was finished.
Hey, it certainly does put a cap on the day, JP. If you look at their last 5 possessions, minus last 4 possessions, the last one didn't count. They had double-digit plays, and they took up pretty much most of the second half. So, I mean, look, the Lions are a really good team. Coach Dan Campbell, he's doing an amazing job with those guys, the entire coaching staff, how they've gotten this team to respond. And I just want to tip my hat off to them and give them credit. You know, game recognized game. They just came in, they stayed home and kicked ass today, as they should have. And the Jaguars got a lot of work to do, man. They started out, seemed to be a much better team to start the season. They had some high points last week versus the Ravens, but today was just probably the worst game that they've played the entire season. But again, the Lions are a much better improved team, and they deserve this win today.
So, Fred, as JP pointed out, they score, the Lions do, on every possession except for the kneel down at the end, and if they needed it, they probably would have driven down and scored. I mean, what makes you think they wouldn't have? But the Jags playing without Andre Sisco today, did you notice his absence in particular, or was this just across the board a bad defensive effort?
Yeah, no, Mike, I don't think Sisco would have made a difference today.
Okay.
I mean, they put up 40 points. I didn't see a lot of missed tackles out there. I just saw extreme execution by the Lions and soft coverage by the Jaguars. You know, one week you're aggressive and 1 week you're soft. You know, a week ago, the deep ball to Deshaun Jackson. You guys, you know, it's 2nd and 20, 4 minutes left in the game. You match personnel. No in hell I'm matching personnel. You come out in 12, I'm coming out in nickel. You know, I'm going to make sure we have somebody, just in case you do go slot, I'm going to have somebody to distract or reroute the slot receiver, which was Deshaun Jackson. I'm not giving up the big play. If you run it versus my weaker set, that's fine. You know, now it's 3rd and 10. I have an opportunity to match you on 3rd down. But I don't know. You know, I don't want to bash anyone totally. And say, I'm not out there. I'm not in practice every week. I don't see the all 22. But when I do get a glimpse of these moments from a defensive standpoint, a few of the games that the Jags have lost, it seems the games that they've lost due to comeback, it's either aggression or not good enough, you know, from a play call standpoint. So I just think that they have to do a better job of getting these guys in position to give them a better opportunity to make plays. Because if you look at it today with that soft coverage, it doesn't seem that many guys were in position. I know there were a few errors and busts out there, clearly. The middle linebacker not getting his guy man coverage, dropping in coverage, a few little things that they can tighten up, Mike. But I don't think, to answer your question, Cisco doesn't help this butt whipping that they got today.
Certainly was that. 40-14, the final score. J.P. Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and pride of the Jaguars running back Fred Taylor recapping this one. It was all Lions pretty much all day long from the second play from scrimmage when Etienne fumbled the football away. And then just a few plays later, the Lions were in the end zone, and they were in there a good bit on this day. The Jaguars' offense today, the Trevor Lawrence numbers, 17 of 31, 179 through the air. The touchdown. And Fred, you mentioned that drive right after halftime. The Lions had gone down and scored again on a DeAndre Swift touchdown pass to open the half. But then Lawrence, who was banged up on the final play of the first half with a left leg issue, came back into the game. And they go 16 plays and 75 yards and 741. They had 2 fourth-down conversions on that drive. He ran the ball some on that drive, which kind of gave you some hope that, okay, at least he's healthy after that scare before halftime. But I told you a little something at least about the quarterback. They didn't get enough of those today, obviously, but hey, they were down at that point 30-6, and they found a way to make it a 2-score game at least at that point. That's a small consolation for what happened. Let's put it that way.
Oh, without a doubt. I think every Jaguar fan across the globe, they're excited to see Trevor back out there because that was a pretty tough hit, man, and it looked, worse than it actually was. I text you like, dang, that it made me feel bad just watching it from home. But for him and the offense, I want to give all of them credit, the entire offense, to go out there to start the third quarter, to answer the call, that 16 plays isn't easy.
No.
And that's not it tests your conditioning, your heart, your toughness, your resiliency. It tests a whole lot. So for them to go down and punch it in, it said that they were fighting. It did show a sign of fight. But on the flip side, the defense did not show up today to help them. And there are a few signs where the offense could have played better. Obviously, the drop balls, that doesn't help those guys. But the defense just didn't slow the Lions down at all. And I don't know. The Lions had 0 punts.
0.
Yeah.
When team has 0 punts, there's a pretty good chance you're going to lose.
Yeah, there's no – look, the defense was terrible today. Terrible. But I think it somewhat masks how bad the offense was because, look, when you came in to this game, you thought, you know what? Detroit's going to put some points up on the board because that's what they do. But you can put points up on Detroit, and basically everybody does, and the Jags didn't answer that, Fred, until it was, way too late. And, again, the fumble early, I don't know if it changes the outcome of the game, but it certainly set a bad tone offensively for this game, and they fell behind and really just never recovered from that point. So I do think you're right. The defense was there's nothing really good to say about it when they allowed them to score on every possession, but I think it masks somewhat how the Jags were not able to take advantage of a really bad NFL defense today.
Yeah, the Lions ranked 32nd in most every metric going into the game on defense. And, even we talked to Danny Rogers going into the game, Lions reporter. Yeah, there's some bright spots for them. There's some rookies. There's some young guys playing well. But they're still ranked 32nd for a reason. It's not like they're right there on the cusp of being great. But, hey, they made some plays today. Certainly only allowed the Jaguars to score 14 in this game and got the job done while their offense certainly – it was a full team win today for the Detroit Lions, who all of a sudden, they were, 2.5 back of the last the 7th spot in the NFC playoff picture going into the game, and they keep winning games like this. They're going to be around at least in the month of December, and it's been a while since you've been able to say that, Fred.
I think so, JP. I think we said in pregame, too, we talked about a few statistics that what they're supposed to make you feel. They're supposed to make you feel that these are the things that you can do in the game. If their rush defense is ranked 32nd in the league or whatever they are, as a running back, I'm going to lick my chops and say, okay, today is the day. But you still got to show up Sunday and get it done. You got to show up and execute. Everybody got to block better up front. You got to win your individual matchup. And then collectively as a group, you have to make the plays that you're supposed to make. And they didn't do that today. Deservingly so. The outcome is what it is.
All right, let's take a timeout. We'll come back. We're still out to Detroit. We'll hear from Doug Pederson coming up. He has not yet addressed the media in Detroit. He will do that first and then visit with Bucky Brooks after a 40-14 loss for the Jaguars today. to the Detroit Lions. This is Jaguars Postgame on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars fans, huddle up for the best defense against expensive car repairs, CarShield. Score big with the nation's #1 automotive protection company, CarShield. They offer affordable plans that cover over 6,000 parts and systems in your car, truck, or SUV. Don't miss any Jaguars action this season with a car breakdown. Call the MVPs at CarShield for their best coverage ever. Call 800-471-1223. 800-471-1223. Go Jags!
At Farah & Farah, we represent people from all walks of life in matters involving personal injury cases. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter which neighborhood you call home, because everyone deserves justice, dignity, and respect. And remember, when it comes to compensation, you only get one shot. Make it count. Call Farah & Farah at 800-500-5555. Jacksonville.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC. Call Florida Home AC today, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Final score, Lions 40, Jaguars 14. The Jags are now 4-8 on the season. The Lions are 5-7. They've got a little bit of life now as the calendar is turned to December. The Jaguars looking for answers, certainly on the defensive side today. The Lions scored on their first 8 possessions and then knelt down on their 9th and final possession of the game to kill the clock and secure the victory. Let's get to the highlights from this one. We're still out to Detroit as well. We'll hear from Doug Pederson coming up.
Tough day defensively. Just was there anything that stood out as to why they were able to score on all 8 of their drives?
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that they executed better than we did. I felt like, we're kind of shocked to start this game. We just were not, we were not ready. Even, we turned the ball over on the second play of the game, right? And it can't happen, and then defense can't get off the field the entire game, and it's a combination of everybody. We're all included, myself included. So it's something we have to really look hard at in the next couple of days.
Do you become more involved in the defensive game planning when something like this happens?
I don't get involved with the game planning. That's not my expertise. But just we just got to have conversations and be open, and we've all got to be honest with what we're doing and making sure we got the right guys in the right spots.
How is Trevor doing, and what kind of toughness did he show you?
He battled, played real tough. Second half, it was good to see him. We'll continue to evaluate him, but he was fine. To play in the game, and we'll make sure he's good moving forward. But showed a lot of toughness there. To come back and look like a pretty nasty hit. Early, but very fortunate.
Did he get hit in the back of the knee? What did he tell you?
I don't know. It looked like kind of around the knee area, hip, but ended up down around his lower leg, foot area. Again, not a lot of details because everything was fast and furious at the time, but took a look at him at halftime, and our docs did a great job of making sure that there was no risk for further injury, and he was good. He even, I saw him and he said he was ready to go and did a nice job. I mean, it is, but I guess I got to look at the tape and make sure, first. Unless the defender's being blocked, being engaged, usually not. But the explanation was that he was hit up high, which is not illegal.
Were you surprised by the drops today? I think Zay
I was. Yeah, I mean that's uncharacteristic of our guys. Part of the struggles on offense, on third down. Too many third and long scenarios, and it's a good pressure team on third and long, and we just didn't do enough today to stay out of those situations.
Josh Allen was in the locker room and he seemed just at a loss to kind of figure out what happened defensively and what they can do moving forward. What would your, plan be for them moving forward?
Well, I mean, listen, we've got to lick our wounds, and we got 2 days to figure it out. We got a division opponent next week, and nobody's going to feel sorry for us, and so we're not going to feel sorry for ourselves. We're going to go to work, and we're going to get things cleaned up, and try to make it right, but it's everybody. It's not one person, one position group. It's everybody, and it's coaches, players, myself. It's all of us, and obviously it starts there with me.
Any thoughts on why this team plays differently on the road than it does at home?
I know we should probably fly in on Sunday and play. Those are things I struggle with sometimes. And I don't know. It's just something I have to take a look at. But it's just a matter of each person too. Just you got to play so many home games and so many road games, and you just got to understand that we have to go on the road, to play, and it's got to be a business trip, and got to eliminate distractions. We talk about that all the time. We got to focus on our jobs, and we got to treat it that way.
Thanks, Doug.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect.
JOI 2000.
Hi, I'm Chef Justin Timnery, Florida's culinary ambassador. If you've enjoyed preparing fresh from Florida recipes, then you're going to love the Fresh from Florida Club. As a member, you'll be able to search and save delicious recipes, create custom menus, and ask me your cooking questions. Each month, you'll also get a list of what's in season, so you can make your family the freshest meals possible. It's free and easy to sign up. And best of all, you'll be supporting Florida's farmers, ranchers, and fishermen. Join the club at followfreshfromflorida.com today.
Hey Jaguars fans, are you ready to talk some trash? Well, nobody talks trash quite like Waste Pro, the official waste service and recycling partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Specializing in residential and commercial solid waste and recycling collection, processing, and disposal, Waste Pro is equipped to handle all your recycling and garbage removal needs. For service, call 904-731-7288. Waste Pro, caring for communities and caring for Jacksonville.
Headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, CSI Companies partners with leading organizations across the country to deliver workforce solutions. As a proud sponsor of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI crafts personalized operations to fuel the success of businesses, both big and small. Whether it's finding the right talent for a job or seamlessly managing a project from start to finish, CSI has over 3 decades of experience in getting the job done. This is your workforce solutions reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com. Jaguars postgame is presented by Florida Home AC. Call Florida Home AC today, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Final score, Lions 40, Jaguars 14. And time now for the Locker Room Report presented by Baptist Health and the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute, the official sports medicine provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Bucky Brooks has head coach Doug Pederson.
Coach, what are your thoughts on a tough loss today?
Tale of 2 weeks, right? It's the high is high and the low is low, and It's just, as we know, it's not good enough. It's embarrassing, quite frankly. Communication on offense, turnovers on offense, drop passes on offense. Can't get off the field defensively. I think eight possessions, 8 scores by them. What else? What else do you say, right? That's the ball game, and we have to somewhere somehow with a young football team, we've got to figure this thing out. We've got to figure out that there's a level of intensity every single week going into each week, right? And every week's a new week. Every week's another set of challenges. We've talked about this all year, and that's what we have to understand. And the Lions they're a good football team. Don't get me wrong, they're a good football team, and they played well today. But they were fighting for the same things we were fighting for.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it appeared that they wanted it, just a touch more than we did, and that's unacceptable by all the guys in the locker room. They know that. I know that. You got to get it fixed.
Part of this, you talked about like teaching a young team how to win, and sometimes the challenge is handling success. You have a great week last week, then you come back. What are some of the lessons that you can take from this game to show the team how you have to develop that consistency that's needed to be a winner?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's it's hard to win games in this league, and more games are probably lost than won.
Yes.
And you feel like we lost this game today, obviously, by not doing enough. And it's short-term memory, man. It's forgetting the past and let's focus on the future. Great win last week, and we're excited and everything, but this is a different week. This is a different set of circumstances. It's just like now moving forward, Tennessee next week. We've got to somehow figure out to put this behind us and focus on Tennessee and sort of adjust our processes during the week, right? And evaluate yourself, starting with me, and evaluate that, and then evaluate, the team, and each player and each coach has to do that, but there's that short-term memory in this league that you have to just move. You've got to move on, right? You get the good, the bad. You just got to move on and focus on the next week and put the same amount of energy into this week coming up that you did this past week and the week before, right? And focus on your job, focus on your game plan, and then as coaches, we got to make sure we're doing the right thing by putting the right people in the right spots.
Well, the good thing is you get playing a division rival. You have Tennessee, go on the road. Try and get past Monday. What will be some of the things that you're trying to stress to the team to get them ready for next week?
I think the biggest thing is just we got to forget about this loss. We got to move on. We got to focus on Tennessee. It's a good football team. They're leading our division. We got to go back on the road. We got to figure out how to win on the road. I was just telling the media in there, maybe we should fly on Sunday, and show up and go play. I don't know. I think the league doesn't like that, but we got to figure that stuff out, right? I mean, that's all part of winning these games, but it doesn't mean you put the pads back on in practice. It doesn't mean you have 2-hour practices. It just means you just understand where we are. Focus in a little bit more, do a little extra, right? Whether that's study, conditioning, looking at your opponent on tape, whatever it is, and not letting this happen again.
Well, step towards that is taking advantage of the opportunity we have next week against Tennessee Titans. We'll see you next week, Coach. Hopefully with a better result.
Yep. We hope to have a better result, but these are those games throughout the course of the year. You don't want any of them, but when you have them, you honestly have to. The painful thing is going back through it, right? But then you have to forget it, right? You flush it and you move on to the next one, and our guys will be ready. We'll have them ready to go. It's a good football team. We're playing next weekend. I think they lost today, so.
Yeah.
They're going to be upset just like we're upset. So it's going to be a good one.
Well, we'll look forward to it. Good luck this week.
Thanks, Bucky.
It's Bucky Brooks and head coach Doug Pederson from Detroit. Yeah, level of intensity each week and fly on Sunday. Well, I mean, we'll get into that all coming up in just a moment. We'll rehash the thoughts of the head coach. We'll hear from Fred Taylor again coming up. We've got the Kingfish Pest Control defensive play of the game. There aren't many to choose from, unfortunately, today. The final score, Lions 40, Jaguars 14, and it's Jaguars postgame on the Jaguars Radio Network. At Five Star Credit Union, you inspire them to go the extra mile to meet your financial needs. That's why they offer Jaguars fans more banking options like better rates and no hidden fees. Their team is also dedicated to making the communities they serve stronger, volunteering their time and talents while donating millions to local nonprofits. Five Star Credit Union, FiveStarCU.org. Go Jags!
Everyone circle up. I know it looks rough out there. Sure, we're down 24-6, but we came here to play differently. We need a game changer. Something like Ring Central, the business phone system that's more than a phone. I want you to communicate like you can talk to anyone, anywhere, all from the same app. Now get out there and play like you're using Ring Central.
Ring Central. Simpler communications.
At Farah & Farah, we represent people from all walks of life in matters involving personal injury cases. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter which neighborhood you call home, because everyone deserves justice, dignity, and respect. And remember, when it comes to compensation, you only get one shot. Make it count. Call Farah & Farah at 800-500-5555. Jacksonville.
And we're back with breaking news. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try.
What was your fear when you first went down with the injury? You know, like it was bad?
Yeah, I thought it was my knee at first, and then my foot a little bit was hurting too. And luckily, nothing serious. We'll have to see how I feel tomorrow. And told him he just asked, and I said, I'm going to be a little sore, but thankful it's not anything serious. So yeah, I was worried it was my knee, but. I don't think it is, and I feel better than I thought I would. So yeah.
Trevor, how disappointing overall? I mean, you guys had the high last week, and probably didn't see this kind of performance coming.
Yeah, it's just embarrassing, honestly, what we put out there, and such a big game for us, and that's the word to describe as embarrassing. Everybody in that locker room feels that way too. Just to, this is a playoff game for us, and we go out there and lay down, and credit to them. Those guys whooped us. So I'm not taking anything away from them, but just the way we came out and both sides of the ball, all three phases, just didn't play anywhere close to our best football, weren't detailed, didn't execute. And it's just embarrassing when you, especially coming off a big win, and you come out here and lay an egg. It's just can't happen. We've lost 8 games this year, and never have I felt like we got embarrassed like we did today, and that can't happen. We got more pride. We worked too hard to do that, and we gotta make that decision to get back on track next week, and that's kind of where we are at. That's where we're at in our season. After a game like this, you got to make that decision to go the right direction and not go downhill, and that's what I believe in this team. We've done that the whole year, but we really got to have a great week and get back on track.
How do you think something like that happens? Coming out and playing away like this, if you knew why, you would not do it. But yeah. Why do you think?
I think it's a game of momentum, and I think we lost it early. And typically, throughout the season, we haven't won all the games, but we've been able to get some back, and we just weren't able to today. Turn the ball over on the first possession, and then they scored, and then I think we drove down and kicked a field goal, and then they scored, and we just from there, really, didn't feel like we ever gained the momentum back, and that's huge in this game. And you got to be able to play without it to get yourself back in the game, but at the same time, you got to make some plays, you got to have some sparks, and we just didn't do that today. It seemed like, even offensively, it was like 5 yards at a time. Just even that last drive, we needed to go fast, and it was just, and that's just the way the game is. You can't get it all back on one play, but I felt like we just didn't have a ton of explosives. That we weren't consistently moving the ball. We weren't great on third down. I have to look at the numbers, but just, I can only really speak offensively for us, but, we all the way around, we got to play better.
Why does this team struggle on the
I don't think it has anything to do necessarily with playing on the road today. I'm not really thinking about previous games this season, but today it didn't really have anything to do with playing on the road. We just got our ass kicked. So, that's, it doesn't really have anything to do with being on the road. But, you got to win. We have more road games this year than home games, so you got to win your road games, and we haven't done that.
Was there anything, Trevor, at halftime that they did to make it easier for you to play in the second half? Is that why it took longer to get out there? What was halftime like for you?
What exactly are you asking? Sorry.
Like the second half had started. By the time you came out of the tunnel, I just was curious what was going on in those moments at halftime.
Just checking everything to make sure don't have a serious injury. Not gonna get myself hurt worse by going out there, and our team did a good job just checking everything, not rushing me back out there, and I wanted to get out there and play, but they had the ball first, so we had some time, so we took our time and checked everything out, and everything was good, so nothing serious, and then just got out there and moved around. They wanted to see me move before I went back in, and felt good enough to play. So.
I think you ran maybe it was the 4th and 1. You ran for like 9 yards. Was that a nice test for you to say, okay, I'm good, or did you think about it?
I felt good enough to, I made that decision to go play. You got to be able to move and run and use your legs, so I felt good enough to do that. So I was fine with that. Obviously, with what I was dealing with, you'd rather not. You'd rather get the ball out of your hands and stay on track. But 4th down, game on the line, got to make a play, and felt like I saw the lane, so I took it. But felt good, felt fine. Adrenaline of the game too, that helps. So, but yeah, I'm good.
Thanks.
Anything else? Good. Thank you.
You have to establish the run again. We've got to get back to running the ball, protecting the football, and that's also another good thing that came away from today's game. The turnovers, no turnover. Well, minus the fumble, obviously, but from the quarterback players, I guess I jumped ahead. I didn't see any necessarily bad play from the quarterback position other than an overthrow to Manhurst on 3rd and 1. I think other than that, Trevor played a good game. But overall, I like Coach Pederson's attitude. I like what he stands for. I just hope that for all of the Jaguar fans like myself, I want this to translate to wins because I, like all the fans, are tired. I am tired of losing.
But, Fred, just to echo what you're saying here, many times in recent years, would have had a performance like this, and some head coach for this team would have stepped to the podium and talked about, you know what, we beat ourselves, 2, 3, 4 plays, the difference in this game, they go a different way. And some of that is always going to be true, but I loved it too. Doug Pederson got up there and said, this is just an embarrassment, right? And Doug Pederson is as even-keeled as we've had in a long time in the National Football League, right? And you could tell this really, really bothered him, Fred. And this is kind of a gut check for this football team coming up this week, I believe. And like you say, look, you got to forget about it. That's the hard thing, but you got to deal with why it went so badly. I thought Doug Pederson hit a great tone in those post-game comments.
I agree with you, Mike. I agree with you. This is one of those games where you got to watch it. So on the other half of your brain, you're trying to pick out your best bourbon or whiskey, and you got to decide if you're going to drink it on the rocks. In either case, you're going to have some accompanying beverage with you while you watch this. So it can kind of let you down a little lighter, but I agree with him and everything that he said there. It's certainly embarrassing. I think he was speaking out loud when he was speaking out loud when he said you got to have a short-term memory, but he was reminding himself, right? He didn't even want to elaborate too much on it. I think he's a realist and saying this is what happened, but let's not talk about it. You guys saw it. Everybody saw it. So I don't have to have an extensive recap on it. I think they want to hurry and get rid of this one, get to the Titans game, and just try to get this taste out of their mouths because 1 week you're highs of the high after an amazing victory versus the Ravens. And this week, again, you thought you would at least be in versus a team that you thought was on your level you get blown out. You know, and that's the trickery and the beauty of the NFL all wrapped in one, man. I absolutely love this game for that reason.
Back in a moment, plenty more ahead. We'll get the Jaguars Radio Network Player of the Game voting. Final score, Lions 40, Jaguars 14, and it's Jaguars postgame on Jaguars Radio.
Are your heating and cooling costs extremely high? Do you want to extend the lifespan of your heating and cooling system investment? If so, Florida Home Air Conditioning is ready to help you save some money. Schedule your annual AC or heating system tune-up today with Florida Home Air Conditioning for only $59. Florida Home Air Conditioning, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Call 855-FLA-HOME.
License number CMC 1250399, CFC 1430664, EC 130-08557.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
Hey Jaguars fans, are you tired of being late to the game because you're stuck in traffic or circling the lot looking for a place to park? Well, join the thousands of other Jags fans who already know the smartest way to get to TIAA Bank Field is on the JTA Game Day Express. Shuttles run from 4 convenient locations around Jacksonville, including the Kings Avenue parking garage on the South Bank. Tickets start at just $10 and are available exclusively on the Token Transit mobile app. The JTA Game Day Express. It's like winning before the game even starts.
Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC. Call Florida Home AC today, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. All Lions all day, 40-14. The Lions scored on their first 8 possessions and then knelt down in their 9th and final possession to kill the clock. The Jaguars fall to a record of 4-8 on the season. The Lions are now 5-7. Time for the Jaguars Radio Network Player of the Game voting. I get a vote. Mike gets a vote. And Fred gets a vote and a half to break any ties. Mike, get us started.
Well, I would consider Chad Muma with a second half, but I don't think anybody on this defense today deserves player of the game. So I'm going to go with Christian Kirk. I think he's the obvious guy on offense. Caught 6 of 8 targets for 104 yards, including a long of 37, averaged 17.3 yards per catch today. So he would be my vote for player of the game.
What do you think, Fred?
I'm going to echo Big Mike right here, man, just to tag on to that. He had a 37-yard big catch in the first quarter, as well as a 25-yarder on a 3rd and 7 play that extended the drive that actually helped lead to the touchdown. So I'm going to go with Christian Kirk.
Let's make it unanimous then. Christian Kirk, good day at the office, statistically at least, 8 targets, 6 catches, 104 yards, a long of 37. And on a day the Jaguars offense had some drops, Christian Kirk was the most reliable of the options today for Trevor Lawrence. He is the Jaguars Radio Network Player of the Game. If you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150. Loaded with impressive capabilities and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between, this truck makes tough look easy. Your local Ford dealer, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Baptist Health Injury Report when we return. Lions 40, Jaguars 14, and this is Jaguars postgame on Jaguars Radio.
Are your heating and cooling costs extremely high? Do you want to extend the lifespan of your heating and cooling system investment? If so, Florida Home Air Conditioning is ready to help you save some money. Schedule your annual AC or heating system tune-up today with Florida Home Air Conditioning for only $59. Florida Home Air Conditioning, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Call 855-FLA-HOME.
License number CMC 1250399, CFC 1430664, EC 130-08557.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
Hey, Jaguars fans, are you tired of being late to the game because you're stuck in traffic or circling the lot looking for a place to park? Well, join the thousands of other Jags fans who already know the smartest way to get to TIAA Bank Field is on the JTA Game Day Express. Shuttles run from 4 convenient locations around Jacksonville, including the Kings Avenue parking garage on the South Bank. Tickets start at just $10 and are available exclusively on the Token Transit mobile app. The JTA Game Day Express. It's like winning before the game even starts.
Are your heating and cooling costs extremely high? Do you want to extend the lifespan of your heating and cooling system investment? If so, Florida Home Air Conditioning is ready to help you save some money. Schedule your annual AC or heating system tune-up today with Florida Home Air Conditioning for only $59. Florida Home Air Conditioning, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Call 855-FLA-HOME.
License number CMC 1250399, CFC 1430664, EC 130-08557.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars post-game presented by Florida Home AC. Lions 40, Jaguars 14. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Fred Taylor. And time now for the Baptist Health Injury Report. Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good. And today it's all about the guy who I guess is not on there. Trevor Lawrence, of course, with the injury right before halftime, rolled up on that left leg. But comes back out in the second half, fights through. They get a long touchdown drive coming out. He ran a few times after that, and here we go. He's back and played through the remainder of the game, which was the biggest sigh of relief from a long day at the office, Mike.
I mean, Jaguar fans exhale across the board right there. I'm still curious, JP. Look, we hope he's all right. Doesn't matter what part of his body, but I think it might have actually been a calf injury as opposed to the knee based on where he was grabbing, kind of really high on the calf. It was just below the back of the knee. So either way, that would be preferable if anything lingers from that. But, I mean, the fact that he could get up, walk off the field, and come back in the second half without missing any time after cooling off at halftime was massive, obviously, for this organization. That's the best thing, the only really good thing that came out of this day today was that.
Yeah, Fred, that's the one you breathe that big sigh of relief when he runs back out of the tunnel.
Oh, without a doubt, man. Trevor is as tough as they come. Obviously, look, it looked really bad. Like I said earlier, we text each other, man, but I'm just thankful he's back, and I'm sure all the Jag fans are too.
Andre Cisco missed the game today. He was game time decision. They worked him out up in Detroit. He was not ready to go with a shoulder issue. We'll see his status moving ahead. Of course, a couple other guys that were on the report questionable did play today. Etienne was out there. Zay Jones had a chest issue. He did play today as well. We'll see about those moving down the stretch here as the Jaguars face the Tennessee Titans next week. That's it for the Baptist Health Injury Report. The Jaguars Game Day radio broadcast is brought to you by ViStar Credit Union. Do good, bank better. We'll come back with a preview of next week and the AFC South Division showdown. The Tennessee Titans entertain the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 14 coming up. And this is Jaguars Postgame on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars fans, huddle up for the best defense against expensive car repairs, CarShield. Score big with the nation's #1 automotive protection company, CarShield. They offer affordable plans that cover over 6,000 parts and systems in your car, truck, or SUV. Don't miss any Jaguars action this season with a car breakdown. Call the MVPs at CarShield for their best coverage ever. Call 800-471-1223. 800-471-1223. Go Jags!
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
It's football season, and time to take your game to the next level with a Ford F-150 truck. Light up your tailgate with an available Pro Power onboard generator. And with an available 3.5-liter EcoBoost engine, you can tow just about anything you need to rule the stadium lot. Ford F-150, part of the F-Series lineup that have been the best-selling pickups for 45 straight years. Get to your local Ford store today. Proud sponsor of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC. Call Florida Home AC today, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Final thoughts, JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Fred Taylor. Not much left to cover in this one. 40-14, all Lions all day. They scored on every possession except the kneel down at the end of the game. The Jaguars could only muster 2 touchdowns. Well, actually a touchdown and a couple field goals. That's about it. So rough day at the office. The coach called it as such, an embarrassment. He called it today, and now it's on to the next one, Fred. And the next one is a place that the Jaguars haven't won since 2014, Nashville, Tennessee, and the first-place Tennessee Titans, who lost today. That's what's coming up. Down 3 in the division with 5 to go, 2 against Tennessee. It's looking bleaker by the week, but it's a place that has not been a fun trip for this Jaguars group over the years.
It's always been that way, JP. I mean, dating back to my days, we've always struggled with that team. Obviously, they've been a thorn in our sides, and if there's any team in the NFL that I sincerely despise more than any other team, it would be the Titans. My one opportunity to make the Super Bowl, they killed that in 1999, and that was it for my career, basically. But in today's game, Jacksonville got to find a way to beat them. You know, somehow Derrick Henry finds a way to run off 150, close to 200 yards in these matchups, and he's a beast. So it starts with him. I don't think they don't have the same threat on offense as they had, a year ago. No A.J. Brown, so that should help them on their back end. So I believe they can load the box, play man coverage on the outside, blitz when need be, and I think they match up good in this game. But they got to go out there and find ways to execute. You can't drop balls. You got to make sure you're executing on 3rd down or even on 4th down, as they did today. I think they did a good job of executing on 4th down because they have an aggressive head coach. They have a head coach that believes in their system, and he believes in their players. And he believes that if we have an extra play, we should execute it. With all those things said, still got to get out there, play Sunday. I hope they win it. Especially they need to bounce back off this one. So it's going to be an interesting game hopefully they can figure it out.
Yeah, just getting a win against your division rival. Even forget the playoff picture at this point in time, right? I mean, it's come down to it's like a one-game season. Go beat Tennessee, make the fans happy for a week, give your team a little bit of a boost, Fred. And who knows with Treylon Burks today, made a heck of a touchdown catch because he got hit right in the head when he caught the rookie out of Arkansas. And, great play, but left the game, did not return. We'll have to keep an eye on his status. He's clearly their biggest threat in the passing game, too.
Certainly. But again, Mike, just go out there and win it, right?
No
just
doubt.
Find a way to
yeah, no
get
matter
out
who
there.
it is. Win a game.
Right. Get out there and win it. But again, the good thing is we will be seeing, hopefully no setbacks during the week, but we will be seeing Trevor Lawrence out there, and that's a blessing in itself.
Fred, have a great week. We'll shake this one off and head to Nashville next week. We'll talk to you.
I'll be ready for you, JP. Mike,
see you, Freddie.
Always a pleasure, my guy.
Likewise.
All right, buddy. Fred Taylor, Pride of the Jaguars running back with us. That'll do it for Jaguars postgame on our flagship station. If you're in Jacksonville and 1010XL, stick around. The Scoreboard Show is next with your calls. 355-NFL1, the number 355-6351. Final score today from Detroit Ford Field. Final score 40-14. Lions over the Jaguars. That'll do it for Jaguars postgame on the Jaguars Radio Network.
The Jaguars are future-focused. Welcome to the Jaguars Scoreboard Show. This is your chance, Jaguars fans, to sound off about today's game. The Jaguars Scoreboard Show is brought to you by Farah and Farah, Baptist Health, and by TIAA Bank. Now, waiting to hear from you. Here are Mike Dempsey, Bucky Brooks, and JP Shadrick.
Welcome in, Scoreboard Show. Final score 40-14. All Lions all day over the Jaguars. They scored on every possession except the kneel down at the end of the game. The Lions couldn't stay off the scoreboard today. The Jaguars had trouble finding it, and they're fortunate to have the quarterback upright and moving after a scare right before halftime. He comes back out, though, leads a long touchdown drive, runs the ball around a little bit to show his legs okay for now. But yeah, scare, but an embarrassment of a day, as Doug Pederson put it to us in the network show just a moment ago. That's not – after the head coach this week comes out and says, hey, we're treating this like a playoff game. That's how he approached it to this team. Both teams need this game. It's 4-7. You can stay in the race. Everything's out in front if you can just get a game. They needed this game as bad as the Jaguars needed it, and then to go out and have a performance like they did after that messaging, that's not good.
And what you heard in the postgame too, JP, we weren't there. We don't know what Doug Pederson saw throughout the week, but he alluded to that in his postgame comments like, hey, you can't live on last week. Last week is gone. So I wonder, did some of that creep in? Did they think maybe they had turned a corner? I don't know, but I'm trying to decipher, through his public commentary right there. This has not been a team that seems to have been an issue with. I mean, when you consider all the close games that they played this year, they've shown up every week. Today, with so much out there for you, this is the best position this team has been in since, week 4 or 5 of the season. And it was out there in front of you, and the Jags, right from the opening drive with ETN, and Fred made a point, he did wrap the ball. He just wasn't strong enough to hang on to it. He did try to wrap that ball. I don't know, maybe they're going to have to look at, does he need to get down at the end of some runs, rather than battle for that extra yard? If, depending on where you are on the field, I don't know. But it's a miserable day for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the head coach was very blunt about that in the postgame. But I will say this. I think we all would agree, and I'm not saying this, look, the performance, I'm not saying feel better about it whatsoever. But if the Jags had won 40-14 and that situation with Trevor Lawrence, I don't even want to say the word that starts with I and ends with jury, right? But you get what I'm saying here. If the Jags had won 40-14 but lost 16 for the rest of the season, I'd gladly give up the win for that. I'd like to have both, though. I'd like to have a healthy Trevor and at least a competitive performance today. But, that is the one thing we can all agree on. they dodged that in a big way today. I mean, it was just a fluky thing. His foot gets caught up under the defensive lineman, and I don't think the guy was trying to be dirty at all. He's just rolling over, and Trevor's foot just happens to get caught underneath him, and we're all breathing that sigh of relief right now. But just an ugly, ugly performance where, it feels like the Jags finally this year did not show up.
Yeah, they didn't. The defense all day long, they couldn't get off the field. Literally could not get off the field all day. They scored on every possession. So where do you start on the defensive side moving ahead here?
Oh, boy, I felt like I don't know if it was the linebackers strictly, but a lot of guys were getting lost coming out of the backfield today. And it seemed like every time the Jags had a blitz dialed up, whether they were coming from a certain spot or they were backing a guy off out of that spot because they're coming from somewhere else, it was like Detroit had the playbook. They knew right to go with the football. I mean, we saw several occasions of that where the Jags dropped out and they hit the right play at the exact right time. So, screen plays and little swing passes always good against the blitz anyway. But I felt like they hurt the Jags there. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown, I mean, just a crafty player. We know how good he is. He is a volume receiver. He's not that, 20-yard per catch kind of guy, but Darius Williams was getting spun around by him at times today. Not a good day, I thought, for Williams. And it's tough. We're not seeing the All-22 film as we watch it live on TV like everybody else, but you're trying to pick out who's responsible for certain things. I think there's plenty of blame to go around on that defense today.
By the way, the Trevor Lawrence injury, Doug Pederson said after the game that the injury ended up being lower leg, kind of foot area. Is what
Interesting.
It is. So we'll see. There was no risk for further injury, the coach said, so according to the medical staff. So there you go. That's why he went back out.
Foot's dangerous too, but it's not a knee.
Yeah.
Which is great.
That's right.
So let's hope that, maybe he's a limited practice to start the week or something like that. But again,
I mean, he looked pretty good in that drive to start the third quarter.
He did. He looked fine. But sometimes adrenaline can get you through a little something. But I don't see any reason, as he was able to go as deep as he was in that game, that he wouldn't be available next week.
Okay, the phone lines are open. 355-NFL-1, the number, 355-6351. We will be back in just a moment and take your calls reacting to a Jaguars loss to the Lions, 40-14, and it's the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash, made fresh. Daly's.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
Touchdown at Jaguars away games when you fly nonstop from Jacksonville International Airport. Join the Jaguars in D.C., Los Angeles. Watch them win in Philly, Indy, Detroit, Nashville, New York, and Houston. When you fly nonstop from Jax, on airport parking will punt the stress from your travel itinerary. Garage facilities offer defensive coverage from the weather and are a 50-yard dash from the terminal. Economy parking is just $6 a day. To learn more about nonstop flights and on-airport parking, visit flyjax.com.
Decisions are a part of our everyday life. Whether you're building a football team or building your education, your success is built on the decisions you make. So choosing J-Tech as your career training destination should be a no-brainer. With small class sizes, dedicated instructors, job placement assistance, and financial aid available for those who qualify, J-Tech is praised as a good choice by our graduates. Learn how you can build your career the right way by visiting jtech.org for more information.
When it comes to water, choose our team, the winning team. Choose CGC Water Treatment. CGC Water Treatment works, and it works for DG too, former Jags QB, David Garrard.
If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter.
don't be the filter. Discover the Kinetico difference.
Call CGC Water Treatment at 844-CGC-JAGS or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Kinetico dealers.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
The Jaguars Scoreboard Show. Scoreboard Show continues right now.
We're back. The Scoreboard Show continues. 355 NFL 1, 355-6351. Final score 40-14. Lions over the Jaguars. There was a game back in 2015 in September. The Jaguars went to New England, and the Patriots scored on every possession except the final kneel down. That's exactly what happened today. Patriots had 51 points that day up at Gillette Stadium. Today, the Lions put up 40, and the Lions are now 5-7. The Jaguars are 4-8 with 5 games to go. Let's go to the phone lines. 355 NFL 1, the number 355-6351. What you got, Mike?
All right, rain or shine, win or lose. Let's welcome in Sakib on the south side to lead things off here on the Scoreboard Show. Hi, Sakib.
I don't want to say hi. I don't want to say bye. I don't want to say anything. I just want to say our defense is absolutely trash. Okay? If anybody for next 1 week tells us our defense is getting better, they've been really bad. And they need to get it together against Tennessee this week because that did not look, Mike, that was the worst I've ever seen our defense ever. I mean, that was just bad, man. They got to get it together this week against Tennessee, man.
Yeah, nobody's going to argue with you. They're playing terribly right now. I mean, particularly today. I think the one you pointed out, JP, giving up 51 in a similar circumstance is probably up there. I mean, I'm sure they've had performances that you're kind of forgetting about in the moment, you know. But
there was one last year against the Patriots too.
You go back to when Minnesota put up 55 on them back in the 90s and things like that. But so what? I mean, if we have to go, oh, well, there are 3 or 4 other worse performances, you know it was a bad one.
That's right. We're looking up the record books.
I mean, that doesn't make me feel any better. I'm not trying to. No, and Sakib, I don't think you need to worry about it. I don't think anyone is going to be saying that the defense is getting better this week. I mean, they did stop them on the last drive, JP. I'll give you that with the kneel down. Yeah. I mean, honestly, a little gallows humor here because it was everything they want. Every time. You know, we're watching the TV, and we're like 8 to 10 seconds behind, so it's depressing as we're listening to Frank drop back. Jared Goff surveys the field, no pressure, plenty of time. He throws it complete for another first down. It just seemed like whatever they needed at any given time is what they got, and obviously it was enough to score on all those possessions. Wasn't a touchdown on every single one, but it was miserable. I thought, once again. Some crossing routes, some stuff out of the backfield. I mean, everything, though. Shots downfield.
I mean, think about this, though. It wasn't like big play day for them.
They had the 41-yarder to chart.
They had 3 plays over 20 yards. That was it. A 41-yarder, a 24-yarder, and a 20-yarder. So they're just chipping away. Yeah.
But they did it consistently. Amon-Ra St. Brown is their leading guy. That's who he is. He's a 12, 13-yard kind of receiver, right? He does the intermediate stuff. He moves the chains. He just does it consistently over and over and over again. That could be a really dangerous offense when Jameson Williams gets up to speed, making his debut today. So I feel like they wanted to get Chark a few looks today. They took that one deep shot to him, and he came through. So I'm sure he is loving life right now in the post game. To the winners go the spoils. But you're right. It wasn't like in a way, that's worse, JP. If you give up a few, quick strikes, you're like, all right, busted play here. This was methodical. Can't get him off the field on 3rd down. Can't get him off the field on 4th down. Can't get him off the field on 1st and 2nd down, for that matter. They didn't have nearly as many 3rd down opportunities you'd like to force them into because they were converting early. What were they today? 8 of 12
Yeah.
on third down,
Absolutely.
which is fantastic. And would have liked to force them into a few more situations, but even when they got him in third down, the Jags had no pass rush to speak of today. They had the one sack when Jared Goff rolled out, extended the play. He should have just thrown that out of bounds, and it wouldn't have been a sack. And then you had one where Moom at the last second reaches out and catches Goff as he's running up the middle and trips him up behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, they count, but you did not feel the presence of the Jaguars' pass rush in this football game at all.
Nope. And they held the football 4.5 minutes or so in the opening drive of the second half. The Jaguars then had it 7 minutes, 41 seconds. But by the time that Detroit had it again for the field goal, I mean, they're in the fourth quarter already. It's only, the Jags have only had one possession the entire second half at that point. So time was ticking away. The clock's churning, the score's getting out of hand and just running out of time, and just long, methodical drives. And then the final drive, the killer, it was already over anyway, but for good measure, 7.5 minutes, 12 plays, 68 yards, Goff to St. Brown on a 4-yard touchdown to end the scoring. And it just kind of summed up the day at the office. Unfortunately, it goes the wrong way for the Jags today in a big way. 40-14 the final. The Lions over the Jaguars. Lions now 5-7, Jaguars 4-8. Phone lines are open, 355-NFL-1, 355-6351. More of your calls when we come back. It's the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
Brooks Rehabilitation is hiring nurses who want to be empowered as advocates, educators, care coordinators, and leaders in exceptional patient care. They have open RN, LPN, HHA, and CNA positions across their inpatient, skilled nursing, and home health care settings. Join their nationally recognized team, where you'll serve as a central team member doing what you do best, providing exceptional patient care. Apply at careers.brooksrehab.org.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Travel Camp RV, official RV dealer of the Jacksonville Jaguars, invites you to come shop their huge selection of inventory for your dream RV. With locations across the Southeast, you're sure to find them close by. Get value pricing on the top RV brands in the country, paired with the guaranteed best financing options available. You can also shop their inventory at travelcamp.com. Travel Camp RV has helped more families make more great memories in an RV since 1982. They're excited to add you to the Travel Camp RV family today.
If the last couple years have taught us anything, it's to show the ones we love how much we care. That's why Pet Paradise calls you by name from the moment you arrive. Why our pack leaders know each and every friend you like to play with out on the turf. And that you like some snuggles before you fall asleep. The more we see and get to know you, the more you'll see how much you mean to us. Pet Paradise. It's a new day in pet care.
Restaurant Orsay is a bustling French-American bistro focusing on classic French techniques with their chefs incorporating a traditional Southern influence. Celebrate life's special moments or just relax and enjoy their daily happy hour, weekend brunch, and nightcap on Friday and Saturdays from 10 until midnight. Restaurant Orsay, located in historic Avondale, 3630 Park Street. Visit www.restaurantorsay.com.
Hi, I'm Chef Justin Timnery, Florida's culinary ambassador. If you've enjoyed preparing fresh from Florida recipes, then you're going to love the Fresh from Florida Club. As a member, you'll be able to search and save delicious recipes, create custom menus, and ask me your cooking questions. Each month, you'll also get a list of what's in season, so you can make your family the freshest meals possible. It's free and easy to sign up. And best of all, you'll be supporting Florida's farmers, ranchers, and fishermen. Join the club at followfreshfromflorida.com today.
The Jaguars Scoreboard Show. Scoreboard Show continues right now.
355 NFL 1, the number 355-6351. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey. The Scoreboard Show continues. Final score, Lions 40, Jaguars 14. Felt like more than that, actually. The Lions scored on their first 8 possessions, and then on their 9th and final when they knelt down to end the game. The Jaguars could not get much of anything going. A Patterson field goal at 31 yards in the first quarter, a 42-yard field goal from Patterson in the second quarter, and then a touchdown in the third from Lawrence to Ingram, and a 2-point play, which was well executed, by the way, to get them within 2 scores, 16-point lead at that point, but the Lions never stopped on offense.
No.
Jags defense couldn't slow them down and just chipped away all day long, and the punter, all he did was hold on extra points today. He did not have to punt the football at all today for the Lions. They win it, and they're certainly very much, at least in the hunt, in the NFC playoff picture. Still a little bit of football left to go at 5-7. The Jaguars' hopes are dwindling 4-8.
Yeah, it felt merciful when Detroit kicked the field goal today. Like, it's still points, but it could have been worse. It was one of those kind of days. All right, back out to the lines we go at 355 NFL 1. Rob is next up in Pittsburgh on the Scoreboard Show. Hi, Rob.
I appreciate you guys taking my phone call. What you guys do every week.
Thank you. What's up, man?
My question is, do you think it's like a scheme thing, or is it like the Jaguars are like linebackers? I felt like they kept getting beat, like in the flats, like with all the screens.
Yeah, screens, swing passes, all that. Swift was open by like 15 yards on one of those plays today out to the right.
Ridiculous.
Just kept running and running. All of a sudden, there's nobody in the screen. So I don't know what.
I think there had to be something that either Detroit picked up some tells or something. It seemed like they had some of those plays called just at the absolute perfect times, but there was no question, JP. I mean, we saw the one, right, on third down. Josh Allen gets switched out on DeAndre Swift, and you could tell right away he kind of gets bumped off his coverage by just a millimeter, and Swift is going to outrace him to the corner every single time, and it was just like, almost handing it to them at times. So I think Rob is right that there probably was something schematic going on. I'm not smart enough to be able to see on TV exactly what that is, but I'm sure Mike Caldwell is going to get grilled about that. I'm sure Doug Pederson's going to get asked about that tomorrow when he meets with the media, as he does every Monday. But, I don't know if it's that or it's a combination of that and some guys just not playing their assignments properly. I'm not sure what that is, but there was certainly an issue with the coverage of the stuff coming out of the backfield today. No question about it, Rob. Bill, I believe, is next here on the South Side on the Scoreboard Show. Oh, I'm sorry, Phil on the South Side. Hello, Phil. How are you?
Phil, you're on the air.
Phil, you with us?
Phil is not.
All right.
He's
Phil's
out.
Napping.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's one of those where we've kind of heard, do they have guys in the right spots? Last week it was, hey, let's try 3 safeties at some point. Let's try 3 linebackers in the middle with the 2 outside guys, but that was against the Ravens, right? That was against a different-looking offense. And how much of that stuck today? Omuma's still out there. He's going to be starting, it feels like. How much do you use Devin Lloyd, and what situations do you put him in? Daniel Thomas is on the field a little bit today. At least we heard in a couple of the calls on radio. He was out there getting some time at safety. So, all right. Well, yeah, Cisco was down. It's part of the reason you rotate some of that in. But, how much of that moves from week to week? How much of that was a one-off week of guys just maybe missing a little time or moving around against this scheme or what it is? I think they'll look deep into that down the stretch too.
Yeah, I don't doubt there's some scheme in here. But, again, go back to Doug Pederson's postgame comments, right? And basically, he was saying, hey, look, you got to put last week behind you, which to me – for him to bring that up a couple of times, I felt like maybe he felt like these guys got caught up in, hey, you know what? Maybe we have arrived. We figured out. Now we've won 2 of the last 3 games, and we've done it in the fourth quarter. We've learned how to win these close games. We're going to go up there, and the Lions are not going to know what hit them when we punch them right in the mouth. I don't know. Doug Pederson's around, but it didn't take much to pull that out of his comments in the postgame that these guys were maybe not ready to play today. And, I mean, it started right off the bat, JP. Travis Etienne, he's not trying to fumble. He's got it wrapped up, but you have to have better ball security than that. And it's like a snowball rolling downhill all afternoon after that point.
Yeah, it was a short field. They cashed it in for a touchdown. 7 plays later, it's already 7-0, and then you got within 7-3, but that was it.
Right, when you never stop them. No. I mean, it's just
you
like,
better not be kicking field goals.
What are we going to do here?
No.
I don't know what all the answers are. I think, Fred Taylor's probably right, because you highlighted there are only 3 plays over 20 yards, right, in the passing game. So it's not like, all right, let's say we got Andre Cisco and he erases those 3 plays.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, they're still getting 10 yards.
What about all the
yards?
other ones?
That's
exactly.
right. It's not like Randy Moss is going against you, getting 70-yard touchdowns.
Correct. So maybe, who knows, maybe it's 33-14. Maybe it was worth a stop along the way somewhere. But, it's like you said, they're trying a lot of different schemes, which tells me they're not getting what they want out of their personnel right now, JP. Devin Lloyd, by the way, had 6 tackles in the game. Did you notice him in the game?
Not especially.
Not especially either, right? He
No.
was the 4th leading tackler for Jacksonville. I'm surprised he had that much activity. But, Trayvon Walker, with the exception of the half sack that Aiden Hutchinson got, I thought at least he played to a standstill with Hutchinson today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, statistically, he had 5 tackles, including a tackle for loss.
Yeah, it seemed like he was in the backfield some
Got
today.
a quarterback. He was close. One of those days where another half second he might have had a sack or 2, right? But he didn't. And that's the NFL. It all comes down to those little seconds and half seconds getting rid of the football. But, I mean, you can look at the numbers, and when you look at the box score, maybe Foye, I hope Foye showed up on film and he looks as good as the tackle numbers indicate, right? Because that's 33 tackles, including 26 solo tackles in 2 weeks for Foye Oluwakin. But when Detroit's moving it, you got to wonder how many of those were 7 yards downfield today. Going to have to go back and watch the film on this one, watch the game over again and take notes on exactly where he was making plays.
Let's come back in a moment. More of your calls, 355-NFL-1, the number 355-6351. Final score 40-14, Lions over the Jaguars. This is the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Hey, Jaguars fans, are you tired of being late to the game because you're stuck in traffic or circling the lot looking for a place to park? Well, join the thousands of other Jags fans who already know the smartest way to get to TIAA Bank Field is on the JTA Game Day Express. Shuttles run from 4 convenient locations around Jacksonville, including the Kings Avenue parking garage on the South Bank. Tickets start at just $10 and are available exclusively on the Token Transit mobile app. The JTA Game Day Express. It's like winning before the game even starts.
At Five Star Credit Union, you inspire them to go the extra mile to meet your financial needs. That's why they offer Jaguars fans more banking options like better rates and no hidden fees. Their team is also dedicated to making the communities they serve stronger, volunteering their time and talents while donating millions to local nonprofits. Five Star Credit Union, FiveStarCU.org. Go Jags!
Hi, I'm Chef Justin Timnary, Florida's culinary ambassador. If you've enjoyed preparing fresh from Florida recipes, then you're going to love the Fresh from Florida Club. As a member, you'll be able to search and save delicious recipes, create custom menus, and ask me your cooking questions. Each month, you'll also get a list of what's in season, so you can make your family the freshest meals possible. It's free and easy to sign up. And best of all, you'll be supporting Florida's farmers, ranchers, and fishermen. Join the club at followfreshfromflorida.com today.
Touchdown at Jaguars away games when you fly nonstop from Jacksonville International Airport. Join the Jaguars in D.C., Los Angeles. Watch them win in Philly, Indy, Detroit, Nashville, New York, and Houston. When you fly nonstop from Jax, on-airport parking will punt the stress from your travel itinerary. Garage facilities offer defensive coverage from the weather and or a 50-yard dash from the terminal. Economy parking is just $6 a day. To learn more about nonstop flights and on-airport parking, visit flyjax.com.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
The Jaguars Scoreboard Show continues right now.
355-NFL-1, the number, 355-6351. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and it's the Scoreboard Show, and it's an ugly scoreboard today. 40-14, Lions over the Jaguars. The Lions are now 5-7. They certainly have some life in the NFC. The Jaguars are clinging to it in the AFC. 4-8, and back 3 of first place in the AFC South with 2 against Tennessee still to come. 1 against the Texans, of course, as well. Another against the Cowboys and another against the Jets. That's what's remaining. But, boy, you got to figure out some things on defense in a hurry.
This week is all about pride, right? You got embarrassed. Your coach called you out in the postgame saying how it was embarrassing from start to finish. There's really nothing good about this. You've got your most hated division rival in a place where you haven't won in 8 years. Forget the mathematical odds of making the playoffs right now. Win some games, and if we look up in 3 weeks and go, oh, look, they're still in it, great. But this is all about how you respond to, just your by far worst performance across the board this season. Offensively,
close.
Defensively, everything. So can you go up in Tennessee, even if you don't win, can you play one of those games that you played this year? They're going to try to bully ball you.
Yep. And
if your heart's not in it, you're going to get pushed around by that football team, despite the fact that they got beat down today. They got beat down by a good Philly team. We know they're good. I think the Jags are capable of beating Tennessee. I think Tennessee is very offensively challenged right now, particularly if Treylon Burks, who went out with a seeming concussion today, is unavailable, JP. They've got nothing at wide receiver that scares you, or at least that should scare you. Nick Westbrook-Akini and old Robert Woods at this point. You got Austin Hooper at tight end. None of these guys should scare any NFL team. And Derrick Henry, that's the X factor. He didn't have a big day today at all. Philadelphia did a good job. You got to send the house to stop Derrick Henry. If you let Ryan Tannehill beat you in the passing game this next week.
Whew. Well, we've seen issues in this Jaguars secondary throughout the year. This is not the first time this has happened against a team that, shouldn't have. There are teams in the past in this season that should not have thrown the ball against the Jaguars as effectively as they did, and they did it anyway.
Right, but Detroit's done this to a number of teams this year.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you on that. But the Colts shouldn't have done that.
No, I agree. Right?
Look, what are we doing?
You're absolutely right about that. But they also played great against the Colts once.
Yeah.
And then
they
got carved up. No, I understand.
So
but
Matt Ryan got benched 2 weeks later.
If you were going to pick a bad passing attack right now, Tennessee would probably be maybe in the top or the bottom 3 or 4 in the National Football League. So make them look like that next week. That's next week. Let's get out to the lines at 355 NFL 1. Billy in Orangedale is next up on the Scoreboard Show. Hi, Billy.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hey, listen, I can barely hear y'all, but I just wanted to say this. This loss is just one of those things that happened. The more important thing is to focus on the whole year, the totality of it, and focus on sustainability and stay at that razor edge it takes to win in the NFL.
I like the big picture look at it, right? I'm with you.
Within 2 hours of getting beat 40-14, I'm not looking at the big picture right now. And look, they have stayed competitive. That's why today is so disappointing.
That's right.
Because every week they have had that razor's edge. They haven't always had the the scheme or the plays or whatever to finish those games off, but they've been in every game. There's obviously been fight. I'm not saying nobody tried today, but it just looked like one of those that the air got let out of the balloon very early, and it all started to go wrong. And again, when your head coach is alluding to you can't live off last week's performance, that's great. We feel great about ourselves. You got to put it behind you. It makes me wonder if he saw that throughout the course of the week, that these guys were a little bit feeling like they had arrived with this football team. We had hoped they had against an opponent like Detroit. At least, put it this way, if they'd lost this one, we were talking on a break, if this has been a 30-27 loss, you'd go, man, this is so disappointing. But that's the kind of game Detroit plays, right? They're going to score points. They're going to give up points. You gave up too many. They scored too many. They never stopped scoring, and you couldn't answer them at all today. So it was a complete breakdown across the board. Billy, good luck moving forward. We appreciate the call.
Season high points for Detroit, by the way. No. They lost. They put 45 on the board and lost to Seattle earlier in the season.
And lost. See, that's
right.
what they do.
That's what
right?
they do. To your point,
they'll score, but they don't stop you very often.
It's the second most they've scored all season.
Well, there you go. And I mean, look, the Jags defense just not very good right now.
No,
right?
not today.
27 last week to a team that really doesn't have a wide receiver. That, again, you want to talk about a lack of weapons in the passing game, that's the Ravens, right? With the exception of Mark Andrews. He's the only guy that you go, we got to really make sure we know where he is on every snap. So, big-time issues here, JP. There's no question about it. I got people, hit me up on social media. Are we going to make a change? I don't think they're going to make any major changes here over these last 5 weeks of the season. Now lineup changes. Yeah, they're going to tinker with the lineup. But, people are like, hey, we need to get rid of Mike Caldwell. And who knows? After the season, everything's on the table. But with 5 games to go in his first year here in Jacksonville, if you're hoping for something like that, you're just not going to get that. I don't think.
The personnel is got to get a little better.
Personnel has to get a lot better.
Yeah.
Honestly. And again, you go back to, and we've
talked about
the back
end
this,
especially, right? The secondary.
The secondary, huge. Look, you lost Shaq Griffin, but I don't think Shaq Griffin's
wasn't playing that well anyway.
No, he's not a game-changing guy, right? So right now you're really struggling opposite Tyson Campbell, who, by the way, is the one who gave up the DJ Chark 41-yarder today. Tyson Campbell got beat for the first touchdown today. He didn't have a great day. So it's not like you can go, he had Tyson Campbell and he was holding his down. Nobody had a good game out there. Now, maybe when they go and grade the film, they'll find somebody that ultimately did more positive than negative, but nobody that's going to be walking around with their chest stuck out this week. And, it goes back. We need better personnel. Okay, you've spent 4 draft picks to find one position this year. You've got 1 starting linebacker out of 4 picks. Your second, your fourth, your second, your third, your fourth, and your 6th round picks went into Chad Muma playing ahead of Devin Lloyd. That's where all that draft capital went. And when you look at it now, and it's not like we didn't bring it up at the time, this is a curious use of resources. We thought Devin Lloyd, we hoped he would be a star, and maybe he will be. But, losing his starting job midway through the season to a 3rd-round rookie, I mean, it's great that they have Muma now, but you could have had a lot of different pieces with that capital that you used. And for a team that needs, like you said, a lot, it seems like there's still a lot of holes to fill on this team. You got to wonder if they're going to get the kind of impact even going forward out of all those picks that they thought they were going to.
It's not a good place to be right now for this Jags team. But still, hey, it's still 5 games to go. Maybe they can turn some things around and get something done to the final month plus of this season and go play them out.
Play this game like it's a 1-game season, that everything's on the line. It plays, you can consider it playing spoiler, even though this game doesn't knock Tennessee out of first place, even if you win. But you got to treat this game like it is your season here. Your fans want to beat Tennessee more than any other team on your schedule. You haven't been able to get the job done there. You just got embarrassed. What kind of gumption do you have? What are you made of? Show up. And for the most part, they've done that week after week, even with that 5-game losing streak. They were showing up. They were fighting down to the end. They just weren't able to get over the hump. Today was a completely different category. Can't have this kind of effort and performance next week.
Let's take a timeout. We'll come back. Our final thoughts, final calls after a final score of 40-14. Lions over the Jaguars. This is the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
Brooks Rehabilitation has more than 50 years of experience serving the North Florida community with cutting-edge rehabilitation care, ranging from joint replacements, sports injuries, and balance issues to traumatic brain injuries, spinal cord injuries, and strokes. Their highly trained clinical teams span across their system of care to include inpatient, outpatient, skilled nursing, assisted living and memory care, home health, and adaptive community programs. Learn more at brooksrehab.org. Brooks is proud to be the rehabilitation provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash, made fresh. Daly's.
When it comes to water, choose our team, the winning team. Choose CGC Water Treatment. CGC Water Treatment works, and it works for DG too. Former Jags QB, David Garrard.
If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Discover the kinetical difference.
Call CGC Water Treatment at 844-CGC-JAGS or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Kinetico dealers.
Restaurant Orsay is a bustling French-American bistro focusing on classic French techniques with their chefs incorporating a traditional Southern influence. Celebrate life's special moments or just relax and enjoy their daily happy hour, weekend brunch, and nightcap on Friday and Saturdays from 10 until midnight. Restaurant Orsay, located in historic Avondale, 3630 Park Street. Visit www.restaurantorsay.com.
Decisions are a part of our everyday life. Whether you're building a football team or building your education, your success is built on the decisions you make. So choosing J-Tech as your career training destination should be a no-brainer. With small class sizes, dedicated instructors, job placement assistance, and financial aid available for those who qualify, J-Tech is praised as a good choice by our graduates. Learn how you can build your career the right way by visiting jtech.org for more information.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
The Jaguars Scoreboard Show. Scoreboard Show continues right now.
Welcome back. Final few minutes of the Scoreboard Show. 355-NFL-1, the number, 355-6351. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey. The Jaguars fall 40-14 to the Detroit Lions. Some other finals from the early window today. Steelers over the Falcons, 19-16, the final score there. Ravens over the Broncos 10-9. There was a last-second field goal try that fell short. The Ravens get the win. Lamar Jackson has a knee issue, though. And John Harbaugh said after the game it's going to be days to weeks for him. There's more testing apparently coming on Monday on Jackson's knee. Packers beat the Bears, surprise, surprise, at Soldier Field, 28-19. They always win in Chicago. The Packers are now 5-8. Their hopes are still alive. We'll see if the quarterback can hold up down the stretch, though. He's banged up in all kind of places. The Browns over the Texans 27-14, a final score. Deshaun Watson making his Cleveland debut. The Browns scored a special teams and a defensive touchdown in the game today.
2 defensive touchdowns.
2 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
And a special team.
Oh, 3. Oh,
yes.
3. My gosh.
3 total.
3 non-offensive touchdowns today for the Browns in a win over the Texans, who are now officially eliminated, by the way, at 1-10-1 for the season. The Texans are on to the NFL draft.
I'd like to mock them, JP, but then you realize the one came against Jacksonville. So,
yeah, the win of the one.
The one, right?
Yeah,
the
not
one
the
win,
one
not
tie.
the one tie,
The one win. Unfortunately, the Vikings over the Jets, 27-22. That turned out to be a ball game today in Minnesota. The Vikings are now 10-2. And the Commanders and Giants ended up tying today. 20-20 the final score. Commanders 7-5-1, Giants 7-4-1. And the Eagles over the Titans 35-10 and really dominated that game. Some games in action right now in the second window. They're now starting the third quarter at SoFi. The Rams hosting the Seahawks. Seattle leading at 14-13 over the LA Rams. 49ers over the Dolphins 17-10. That game is at halftime in Santa Clara. The Bengals lead the Chiefs 14-10. That game is at halftime in Cincinnati. And the Chargers and Raiders both tied. They're tied up 10-10, final seconds of the second quarter. The Chargers have the ball in the red zone, 3rd down and 3, and they've just hit a field goal. So it's 13-10 with the Chargers on top of the Raiders. And then coming up tonight, the Colts and the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. Another night game for the Colts, primetime.
Yeah, well, guess who's got like 3 coming up in the next several weeks? Those defending Super Bowl champion Rams playing with a combination of second and third string quarterbacks with, I would challenge
Could be
you.
flex time.
Yeah, no, none of these games are flexible. Like Thursday, it's like Thursday night, Monday night. All these games are locked in, so they can't be flexed out. They've got 3 primetime games coming up. The NFL has had, I don't know, if they're, what their rationale is. I understand they're trying to get as many eyeballs on TVs, but I don't know if it's just dumb luck. They've had so many blah primetime games. Not everyone, but a lot of them. And I got to believe anything involving the Rams will probably fall in that category as well.
Sure. Next week, the Jaguars have the Tennessee Titans up in Nashville. It's been a long time since they've won there. They've had some issues in other places also, obviously, but the Titans have had the Jaguars number, and not just recently. A lot of the franchise's existence. But, at some point, you got to go figure this thing out. They are the team that has run the AFC South for the most part, as of late especially, and they've dominated the series against the Jaguars. But if you're going to measure yourself in the AFC South, this is the team you have to go up and fight and, as they say, punch them in the mouth right back, because they're going to do it to you.
Right from the very beginning of this franchise, right, when Tom Coughlin built it in the old AFC Central, you're taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's how you built your organization, to match up with that team. I mean, Doug Pederson just got here this year, but that is the challenge. Can you build a team that can play finesse like today's NFL demands in the passing game, but at the same time meet that physical challenge of a bully that's in your backyard? And that's what Tennessee has been. And it'll be interesting, though. Derrick Henry's not going to be able to run like Derrick Henry forever based on his style of play, and he's getting up into his upper 20s now. But for right now, they're going to be extremely confident that they're going to bounce back after that loss to Philadelphia. They're like, hey, we got, they're counting that W already. And that doesn't mean it's going to come true. But much like we say, hey, the Colts aren't going to beat us in Jacksonville, right? That's the one good streak the Jags have rolling here for a while. Tennessee's feeling the same way about Jacksonville on any field, but particularly at home right now. And, they understand, look, doesn't even matter. They were number 1 seed last year in the AFC. They just got to get in. I mean, and you want to be as high a seed as possible. I don't think they have any shot at being the number 1 seed, so they're not going to get a bye. So just get into the dance, be healthy. That's, kind of where they're at, and they got to, they got embarrassed today as well. I'm sure their head coach is talking about what an embarrassing performance that was, or even if he's not saying it publicly, they're thinking it internally. When you lose by 25 like they did not measure up with one of the best teams in football today. But for the Jags, again, 1-game season, just it's a pride game. Focus on what you could do, tighten up. I don't know, again, JP, I don't know if it's scheme, what it is, but they're going to need a drastic turnaround on defense in the next few weeks, because you got Tennessee. Then you want to talk about an offense that can pop. The Dallas Cowboys are an offense that can hit you from all over the place. And, if you're out there today thinking Amon-Ra St. Brown is something special, and he's a really good player, CeeDee Lamb is a potential game breaker, right? Because he catches those 60-yarders, and that's a couple weeks down the road. But
and then after that,
it's not getting any easier.
And after that, the New York Jets can toss it around now too. All of a sudden,
they had 2 shots late in the game to beat the Minnesota Vikings, just couldn't pull it off. But Garrett Wilson going for over 140 yards receiving today. He's coming into his own. Look, again, it's the NFL, man. Nobody feels sorry for you. You got to go out there and just win some of these football games. I like the fact that Doug Pederson had an edge to him in the post game, but I don't like the fact that he needed to have an edge to him. I thought this team was a little bit, the one thing, the maturity struck me. We talked about it in the pregame with Foye Oluokun commenting after the game last week, like, yeah, we won. That's great, but we're not getting crazy about this, man. We made a lot of mistakes defensively. We got a lot of things to clean up. Well, guess what? They didn't clean up any of them, and then they found more problems on top of that today to allow Detroit to get 40 on them. It seemed, though, from those comments that, like, hey, okay, we're not going to let success go to our head. Enjoy it for 24 hours. Focus in on the game plan, and let's get down to business against Detroit. But based on, just listening to Doug Pederson, I don't think he feels like they were able to accomplish that.
No, and like I said earlier, I mean, Doug Pederson this week took the approach with the team. Hey, this is a playoff atmosphere. You guys wanted to be in the hunt. You wanted to be in the mix in December. Well, this is an important December game. There might be some bigger games with better record teams going at it this weekend. Dolphins, Niners, Chiefs, Bengals, just to name a couple in this window that are playing right now. But, I mean, this has everything you want. They're both 4-7, but the winner has a chance to stay alive, keep things going the right way in December, maybe make a big statement as an organization. And he put that on the table for the Jaguars team this week, and they didn't respond.
Not at all.
They didn't come out to it, and that's
right.
the most disconcerting part of this thing is that was the challenge laid out in front, and they weren't able to go handle that situation. Now, can they handle coming off a blowout loss like that, picking up the pieces, figuring something out, making some tweaks where they need to against a team that's going to come out and play some physical football? Better strap it up this week because can they respond off of a loss like that and find their footing again? That's a huge question.
I'm sure they're mathematically alive for a little while. I don't even want to hear about that kind of
they
stuff.
They are, but technically,
right.
Yeah, okay. Well, just don't give up 40. How about that?
Right.
Start with that.
Look, that's a game. Forget to give up 40. If you give up 40 and you score 41, I mean, find a way to win that football game today. That was what this matchup was all about, to set yourself up for what would have been an incredible week with the Titans coming off the loss, to have it out there. Even if they ultimately won, this week would have been one of the most highly anticipated, probably since the early part of the 2018 season, right? When they're playing the Patriots in that rematch after the AFC title game. So that's not the case. They'll still, eagerly anticipate the opportunity to go up against a division rival, but it's just not going to have that same feeling.
The positive part of today's game is that the quarterback finished the game. Well, they took him out in the final drive. When Beathard came in, they went 4 plays and out on downs. But he returned for the second half, played through it, was running on that left leg that was twisted up right before halftime, rolled over. Kind of walked off under his own power. That was a good sign going into the locker room. The Lions had a drive to open the second half that went 4.5 minutes off the game clock, so a little added time. Trevor comes running out of the tunnel, and into the game he goes, and pretty much finished the day, like I said, except for that final possession. But that was just because the game was 40-14 at that point. No need to keep him in there that late in a game that's this much of a blowout. But, hey, they got down the field after that injury. The first possession for the Jags in the third quarter. They took a long time to get there, but they got there. 16 plays, 75 yards, 741. They got the 2-point conversion and got within 16. And, okay, it's a 2-score game. If the defense could have had another stop or so, maybe you're really in the hunt in that game. But that's a good sign. Trevor, coming off the injury, back out there in the third quarter.
Yeah, when you said if the defense could have another stop, you mean a stop.
A stop,
right?
Yeah, sorry. I misspoke.
I understand.
One stop.
And for the folks who are hitting us up, on social media as well at the half, like, why would you put Trevor back on the field? Because it's professional football, man. I mean, this is what you do. You don't bench a guy because you're down 3 touchdowns. You give him a chance to bring you back until it's absolutely, completely out of the realm of possibility. That'd be a different story if he was risking significant further injury.
Right, and by the time it's 40-14 and it's what,
with
3 minutes to go,
left. Right,
get out of here.
That's a different story. You're down, 24 early in the third quarter, your first possession of the second half. It is, right? And they did respond. And you want to see how your quarterback does respond in those situations. And collectively, what they did today wasn't good enough. Zay Jones is a different player today.
Dropped a bunch of balls.
I mean, unbelievable compared to what he was. It was Mr. Sticky Hands last week.
Now,
he 11 of 15.
He was on the report all week with a chest issue, right? I mean, I think that happened pretty early in the game last week. He fought through it last week and made some big plays in the win over the Ravens, but just wasn't on the same page today, it felt like.
Yeah, I don't know if the chest, and I don't know, but you think once you're out there, the adrenaline's flowing, the ball hits you in the hands. Doesn't seem like something that, he was good enough to finish that game out with a game-winning catch of a 2-point conversion last week. So I hope he's okay, and I think he is. He played today. It wasn't like he was in and out of the game. He just, the ball was in and out of his hands way too much. Same with Evan Ingram a couple of times.
Yeah. All right, so final score, 40-14. Jaguars today, tomorrow, and all week.
No victory Monday. Dang it. It's a victory because we'll have Tony Smith back tomorrow, and David Garrard will join us as well from 10 to noon on 1010XL and try to break down just the many, many things that went wrong, and we'll eagerly anticipate hearing from Doug Pederson after a night to think about all that went wrong, and I think he's going to get some very specific questions about things on the defensive side of the ball. Really across the ball. I'm not saying that, again, the defense played so bad that it disguised how poorly the offense played, considering how much Detroit typically gives up. How many teams have been able to score a lot of points on them. For the Jags to not come through in that department today gets overshadowed because they couldn't get Detroit's offense off the field.
Jags Drive Time in the morning on Jaguars.com and Jags social media channels, and then 4 to 6 tomorrow afternoon. It's Jaguars Happy Hour Monday. Pete Prisco, Tony Baselli, and yours truly will recap this one and everything the head coach had to say as well. That's on 1010 a.m. and Jaguars social media. Thanks to our entire crew. Linda Fortunato on the phones. Tony Smith back with us on the audio. David Cho on the video side. And for our entire crew and Mike Dempsey, I'm JP Shadrick. Thank you for listening. The fifth quarter is coming up next. This has been the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.